Righty then. Successful indie author dealing with change. A full presentation should only take 30 minutes. And afterwards, I'll take questions as usual for those who are watching live. And if you're not, just drop your questions in the comments and we'll get to them when we get to them. All right. Thanks for listening. Let's start. Dealing with change. Change is constant. Everything in your life will change. It might be day to day, might be month to month, might be year to year, but everything's going to change over time. Are you helping facilitate that change, or are you growing with the change? Or are you suffering and trying to fight the inevitable change? So let me start with a key philosophy, and that's the philosophy of max. You want the maximum revenue from each of your properties. As an author, every one of your books, that's a property now that you can exploit across numerous channels. Numerous. So maximum revenue from each property, each book you want to milk for all it's worth to get that revenue. And it doesn't mean you're a dirty capitalist. It just means that you're trying to get the most money for your words. Your words have value. Number two, maximum sales to a minimum number of buyers. This is why I always push hard on write the best book you can. Write good words. Don't just write any words, because if you publish trash, people aren't coming along for the ride. But if you publish good stories with words that impact them and turn your story in through the prism of your words into their minds, it excites their imagination and they want more of it because it makes them feel good. Even if it's dark horror, it still makes them feel something that they like and they want more of that. So maximum sales to a minimum number of buyers. When you have a cadre of readers that buy every new book as it comes out, that provides a foundation that grows over time as you keep publishing more and more books. And then you can predict your revenue. Hey, I'm selling $5,000 worth of books when I release a new book on that first month. And oh, by the way, I could put the first one on sale and the revenue grows. That's what we want. So maximum sales to a minimum number of buyers. So always write the best book you can. And then you want to grow that readership, maximize your number of buyers. And then finally, you want to maximize profitability. This is where you're looking at the business side of it and saying, well, I'm spending all this money over here and it's not doing anything for me. I'm spending all this time writing this side series that doesn't sell. Maximize your profitability. Strip away the stuff that's not making you money and focus on the stuff that is, because artists still need to eat. I'm not a fan of the starving artist riff. You deserve better than that. Getting paid for your work is not the minimum standard, or it's not the gold standard. It is the minimum standard. So you want to get paid for your work. And there's the philosophy that I deal with, that I put in everything that I do. Maximum revenue from each property, maximum sales to a minimum number of buyers, build that cadre of core readers, and then grow that, maximize your number of buyers, and maximize your profitability. Dealing with change. Change is constant. How much change can you manage? Sometimes life throws trials at us and we get more and more and more change. You have to move. You have to get closer to your parents, take care of them. Now your time isn't your own. Pandemic. Now you've got to homeschool your children. So much change. How much can you manage? Well, if you're still here, if you're listening to this, you have managed all of it to this date. Maybe not well, but you have managed it. Life changes, business changes, hiccups. Or are you pole vaulting over navel lint? Sometimes people let the smallest things upset them, but it's not those small things. Those are just the trigger. There's something much, much bigger in the background. So have patience with people who seem to flip out on little things. That's what road rage is all about. It's not about, hey, this guy cut me off in traffic. It's about everything else that this person couldn't control in their lives. And now all of a sudden, this set them off, set them into a low Earth orbit. What don't you know? Fill in those gaps. That makes change easier. Publishing is hard. Writing is hard. But until you do it, you don't know what you don't know. All you have is this void of misinformation, disinformation, lack of information, and we tend to fill voids like that with the worst thing we can imagine. I'm going to publish this book and Amazon's going to take my account and they're going to come after my house and I'm going to get sued. And no, just relax there. Relax there, crazy person. What you need to do is you need to publish, you need to learn, and you learn by doing best. That's how you best learn. And then you fill in those gaps with, hey, here's what I need to know when I need to know it. So you write the book, get it edited, edit it, rewrite, edit some more, and then send it to proofreaders. Hey, they love it. What a great story. I want more of this. Oh my God, I better do something. But I can't publish it because other people might not like it. Who cares about other people? Your proofreaders liked it. You liked it enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. We talked about that a couple days ago. Perfect is the enemy of good enough and a nice revenue stream if you've written a good book. So how do you get there from here? You prioritize. Put it over here so I can see. Prioritize. What is the number one thing in your life and how much time is the investment in everything that you do you need to allocate to it? You need a certain amount of money. So you have to work your day job. You have to work and then get paid for that. How much work are you doing? Are you giving them 10 hours and getting paid for 8? Well, let's renegotiate that and get paid for 8 when you work 8 and not, or paid for 10 if you work 10. And so there's lots of laws to that effect. So don't give them too much. Oh, I'm not going to get promoted if I don't do this extra at no cost to the company. Company will replace you in a freaking heartbeat. If something happened, you broke your leg and can't go to work, and all of a sudden, hey, you're out of a job, even though you were giving them all this extra time. Companies are working to make money. You help them do that. You want a good company environment on your day job. However, sometimes you still need to, if you're going to give them 10 hours, they need to pay you for 10 hours if they respect you and want you to move up. Hey, do a good job for the 10 hours. Don't be goofing off. Don't be, I've seen a lot of workers who would goof off for the first 2 hours just so they could get that 2 hours of overtime because you're getting time and a half. Now you're getting extra pay. They worked hardest during that overtime because they're getting paid more. Hey, work hard the whole day and then get paid as well for overtime, doing a great job. That's what companies respect to a point. As an author, what kind of time are you allocating? How much time are you goofing around reading Facebook when you should be writing? How much time are you not? Do you spend avoiding doing the hard stuff like the business side or the ads? I tend to avoid ads and marketing and that stuff. However, I do eventually get it done, and because it's critical to the business. Advertising is so important because you're making sales on full price books every single day, and that's the real money. What's number one? What's number two? What's number three? Everything else waits its turn. You can only do one thing at a time. And I've gotten into some good arguments with CEOs. These are CEOs of major companies about being able to do more than one thing at once. They're like, I do 10 things at one time. I bet you switch rapidly between them while doing only one thing, or you're doing them all half-assed. Are you giving that best effort on this one thing while you're doing it? And then can you switch rapidly to the next thing? At my writing retreats, I show that you can do this. You can write on command, but hey, let's focus for the next 10 minutes. We're going to write on our work in progress, and that's all we're going to do. Don't check your phone. Don't do anything else. Just write. Just write on your work. And it doesn't necessarily mean just typing as fast as you can. What it means is focusing on just this one thing. And people found that they wrote so much faster. They wrote so much better when they could focus. And then we'd switch and we'd have a business class, and then we dive back into the work in progress. You can do that, but switching rapidly is much different than trying to do multiple things at once. Because if you're distracted, you're writing an email to a cover artist trying to explain what you want while also trying to do something else. You half-ass both of them. You send that email. Cover artist doesn't give you what you want. Cover artist is frustrated. You're frustrated. The other thing you were trying to do, they're frustrated. Everybody's hating life, and now you become the road rager and going off on somebody. Focus on one thing at a time, prioritize what's one, what's two, what's three. And it could be bigger things like I need to get this series recovered. Okay. So when you're sending that email to your cover artist or describing or making a mock-up, focus on that. It goes so much more quickly when you give quality time to what matters. Okay, there you go. Done. Send it off. Now that's moved off the priority list. What moved in? Let's keep that. Oh, that's number 3. Am I doing number 1 and number 2? Priority. And understanding that some things you just can't spend time on. You just don't have the time. Time is the investment in your life. Stress comes from competing priorities and failed expectations. How many times did you go on a first date and you had certain expectations and they weren't met or they were exceeded? Were they exceeded because you had such low expectations, or were they not met because you had such high expectations? Your book, write and publish that first book, everybody expects it to sell. Some pessimists, probably the smarter people out there, don't expect it to sell. And if it does, they're happily surprised. So somebody publishes a book, sells 50 copies, and is ecstatic. Another person publishes a book, sells 50 copies, and is destroyed completely and descends into the depths of depression because, oh my God, only 50 books. Hey, 50 books. That's your new baseline. Second book you put out, it sells 10 or it sells 100. What are your expectations? What did you learn from that first book? Did you change anything between that first and that second books? Unless you sold 1 billion copies of that first book, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to sell more. There's always room to influence new readers and bring them on board. Always. So stress is simply, am I learning what I need to learn to move forward with this author career? Even though I have a day job and I can only commit 4 hours a week, that's 4 hours. You can do an awful lot in 4 hours. Refocus on the minimum. What is the minimum you need? The minimum you need to keep your business going. Is it, I can't spend anything. I can't afford a cover. I can't afford editing. Well, guess what? Write that second book, write that third book, even though now you know you don't know if that first book sells. But the change is, I need to do something, because otherwise it's like, oh, I don't have any money to have the first book edited or put a cover on it, so I can't publish it. So let me do nothing in my author career. When is doing nothing the right answer? Sometimes it is, but that's rare. Most of the times it's do something. Maybe do trades. Hey, I will read your book. I will read this. I will provide feedback. Could somebody read my book and give me a basic edit, basic look? And that's what you're getting better. And then you write that second book and that third book while you're waiting, while you're earning on your day job to make enough to afford a cover, an inexpensive cover, a pre-made, something to help you get it out there and learn more. Because you're not going to be a professional author unless you publish, because you have to sell. You have to sell your books. You have to sell your stories in order to be a professional. Strangers buying your books. It's crazy. So reorient yourself, reground yourself, and then move forward. Have your plan. What are the priorities? Well, I want to be a professional author. Okay, that's an overall goal. What are your priorities to get there? What are your priorities with life? Hey, I've got toddlers at home. I got this. I'm homeschooling. Okay, maybe you only have an hour every 4 days. How can you use that hour to the best value that will help your author business move forward? Because your kids, they're not always going to be toddlers. Maybe the right answer is, I just dabble. I write an hour, 2 hours a week over the next 5 years until I don't have toddlers at home anymore, until the kids are off to school. And then I might have some time. Still the day job, still have to feed them at night. But what are you doing in between? And that's where you learn. That's craft. You read, you write, you read more. Craft is the best thing you can do when you have almost no time. Learning to write better, because then when your time comes, holy cow, people are looking at your story and say, man, look at how this made me feel. This made me think. This made me do something different. And I want your next book. You can only get there if you write the last book. and you write the last book. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the right answer is 6 years down the road. But 6 years down the road, you might have 3 books written with that 1 hour, 2 hours a week. That's where you can start making huge progress in a hurry with your career instead of trying to force everything now. Priorities. I have 3 other priorities. So 1 hour, hey, you're going to find out that 1 hour every 4 days helps you relax. Hey, that's because I can disappear into my own world. I can go do the things that I want to do. And then sometimes you have to go backward to go forward. You've written a book and you're moving forward. You're writing that second book, and you finally got somebody to read your book for you, give you an edit, and it didn't do what you thought it was going to do. They wanted to stop reading. There were long areas of info dump, soliloquy, and things that didn't engage them. And these are readers that you trust. These are maybe other authors of your genre. And you're, oh my God, I wrote 10,000 words here of nothing. You reread it, it's like that. Nothing happens. It's just description that doesn't help anything. Okay, sometimes you have to step back, but that's learning your craft. It takes writing. Sometimes you write, sometimes you rewrite, sometimes you write something else. We are creatures of habit. We love it when everything goes according to plan. Remember, I talked earlier about expectations. We don't expect a moose to come breaking through our window. Oh my God, now I got to spend all this time fixing that window, getting it fixed, putting a piece of plywood in the way while I'm waiting for the window company to come out. Oh my God, it's horrible. Yeah, sometimes stuff happens because we like that consistency. We like going out and the heat comes on. We like going out and clicking the switch and the lights come on. We like having electricity. We like having the internet. So many things we like. And then we start to take it for granted, but that's because we like when things happen like they're supposed to, and not when we have these crazy changes. So creatures of habit. Change is hard. Change is hard. We like the comfort of knowing. Don't rush into that miasma of disorientation where, hey, my life is horrible. I need to change. And you try to change everything at once. Remember when I talked about priorities? Change 3 things. You only want 3 things, and number 1, number 2, and number 3. And everything after that is just in a list of can get to it when I get to it. But 1, 2, and 3, you commit your time to those 3. If you've already plunged into the abyss of disorientation and chaos and cognitive dissonance, what do? You got to back out. You got to back out of there and say, oh, I tried to change too many things at once. Well, back out and understand that when you back out, you're never going to be in exactly the same place you were. I just want it all to go back like it was. Well, it's not going to. And unfortunately, that's just life. Sometimes you move forward and you can't go back. So hey, we moved to get a new job. We get there, the job's been canceled. Now we don't have a job. We're in a new place. We can't go back because we just spent all of our money getting here. Guess what? Need to reorient. Number 1 priority, find a job. Okay, now we're out there beating the streets, doing what we have to get a job. Hey, get a job that pays half. That sucks. But it's something to hold you over till you get another job. Change, reprioritize. What's number 1, what's number 2, and what's number 3? It's a new normal, and that new normal is when you move forward from there. I do like the karma saying of everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you move and that job really wasn't for you, and you needed to meet these other people. You need to reground yourself. You needed to focus on your author business. Hey, we can't move back, but we've got enough for a couple months. Can we make this author thing work? How many books have you written? Are you getting them out there? Are you finding your readership? Are you getting better as an author? If you're doing those things, you should be able to make a go at this author thing. All in now, all the time. Priority number 1, write that next book. Priority number 2, learn about ads. Priority number 3, follow the successful indie author, because you get all that information for free. Change equals opportunity. No change is completely detrimental. I mean, sure, yeah, you did something, you got arrested, you got thrown in jail. That's kind of detrimental. But most change is opportunity. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. Hey, this takes me out of my comfort zone. When you're out of your comfort zone, that's when you make the biggest the biggest moves in your life, because now, hey, I have to learn something, I have to do something, I have to focus, learning, doing. That creates great I don't want to say opportunity. That creates an opportunity for your greatness, because now you're making yourself better. And anytime you do better for yourself, you're doing better for you and your family too. Write that great book, learn to write better, keep writing, and all of a sudden, holy cow, I've sold this many books. I've got readers begging for that next book. Hey, let me sit down and write it. It's so much pressure because I don't think I can replicate the success of my last book. I was so motivated. No, I'm just the pressure. Stop it. Don't you enjoy writing books? Think about what you love to do. Do that. Do what you love. You're writing books. But the pressure, yes, there's always going to be pressure. Everything you do is going to have a certain amount of pressure to it, whether it's the day job, whether it's just getting in your car and driving. I went to a game night down at Alex's house on Saturday, and the roads were pure ice. Between here and there, two accidents. Two accidents. It was a 20-minute drive, and two pretty healthy accidents because of the ice. People sliding all over the place. So still drove it, didn't like it. Wouldn't do it again if I had known it was that icy, but okay, dealt with it, focused on driving, drove slower, and so did all the cars around me, which was good. Doing what needs to be done, and then getting past it and getting back home. Nice and warm, electricity's on, got internet. What else do you need? Your odds of success vastly improve when you show up and do the work. How many people are out there sitting around thinking that, oh my God, I really need to write that next book? And then you don't. Guess what? Your odds of success in selling that first book are much, much better if you get that second book written, or that third book, or the fourth book in the series, or a new series. Because your first series, it absolutely didn't sell. You don't like writing it because you thought it was popular. So a lit RPG, I'm going to write lit RPG. And you've never read a lit RPG, and you write the first book and people hate it. And all of a sudden you're like, I really should write urban fantasy because that's what I read. That's what I like to read. That's what I like to write. Okay, guess what? I think you've made your decision. You talked yourself out of it in the first place when you should have talked yourself into writing something you're far more comfortable with. But writing it, your odds of success vastly improve by doing instead of just thinking. When you write, you better think yourself into that scene and then write it down. That goes much better. Those are much better words. But if you're just sitting there thinking, boy, I really need to write the book, and you never do, you're going to be in the 99% of the people who say, I want to write a book, and then never do. Don't think, do. Yes, you got to think, of course, because you're using your imagination, but you still have to sit down and tap that into the keyboard. If you want to see, what if we want change? Well, then stop doing the same thing. Well, I want to be a successful indie author. Well, what do you need to do? What are you doing to accomplish that goal? Well, I'm writing short flash fiction that's nonfiction, that's something else. I'm trying to sell the magazines and it doesn't sell. Okay. You've tried that. It doesn't work. What do we say? If it doesn't work, don't do it. Do more of what does work. Well, I don't know what does work because I haven't had anything work yet. Well, you know what doesn't work. So let's go from there. Reorient, refocus, reground yourself, and then move forward. Get out of those blocks and get running down the track. You bring your old experience to new opportunity. Hey, I wrote a book. I wrote a few books 5 years ago, and then life got in the way and I couldn't. Okay, great. So you're not starting at ground zero because you've already written books. Oh boy, it's hard to get started writing again. What did you like about the first one? Go back and take a look. What did you like about that? What did you like about the second or third book? The third book was so hard because did you lose your ideas? So what ideas do you need to start a new series and then keep it going where you're still excited to write that third book or the fourth book or the fifth book? Do a quick plot. Even if you're a pantser, even if you write by the seat of your pants, it's still plotting general ideas That keeps the creative juices flowing. Keep your eye on your goal. I want to retire my wife. I want to have be able to leave my day job. Well, what do the business numbers say? Well, it says I need to make double what I'm making in my day job. Okay. There, now you have a number goal. What are you doing to achieve that? How are you getting your book in front of the right people? How are you approaching the profitability of your company? How are you treating your products? Are you maximizing the revenue from each property? Are you maximizing the how much you make from a minimum number of readers? Remember the philosophy, the philosophy of max? Are you maximizing revenue? Are you maximizing profitability? What are you doing to achieve your goal of being a full-time author? Well, if it's double, there you've got a number. Work toward it and look, watch. You have to handle the business side, but you're also the creative talent, so you have to write the words. Write the words. Write the good words, because that's how you get the maximum profit from the minimum number of readers. Accept that change is hard, but the 5 stages of grief won't help you. What's that? Denial, anger, bargaining, and finally it ends with acceptance. You want to get through those 5 stages of grief before. What did I mention? Like 4? There's 5 in there. But that's what it takes. Depression. It's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. So do those help you? Well, rush through to the end, get right to acceptance, and move on. Because otherwise, change, it becomes a roadblock that you can't get past. You have to understand, hey, this is changing. Okay, how do I need to change my goals? How do I need to change my priorities? Don't do more of what's not working. If you've written a bunch of stuff and it's not selling at all, and you've tried some various things, maybe that's not the right genre for you. But I love this genre. Okay, why isn't it selling? What are you reading in that genre that's different than yours that says, hey, why isn't mine selling? Could be as simple as the covers. People aren't looking because your covers don't match what they're expecting. Expectations, you want to meet those. You don't want to have too high expectations. You don't want to have too low either. You want to have meet the reader's expectations by giving them more of what they want. So when you're writing in a genre, know what that genre calls for. Sometimes you throw a little mud at the wall and see what sticks. My first 4 books were in 3 different series. I don't recommend that. I recommend writing a series in a genre that you love, because then you'll have an intuitive knowledge of an intuitive sense of the flow, of the tropes, of the things that are important within that genre that the readers expect. So throw a little mud at the wall and see what sticks, but make sure you know what the mud might be within the genre that you read, but it's more of different tropes, maybe different character arrangements, and see what sticks, see what the readers like and want more of it, and just give them more of that. Best advice I can give is learn what you don't know. Don't stop learning. If you've published something and it's not selling, and no matter what you do, it doesn't sell, well, you know what doesn't sell now. You know what doesn't work for you. Find something that does. Move on to something better. Submit a short story for an anthology. Learn to write short stories. Short stories sharpen my craft immensely. I don't know how many I have, 30, 40 short stories. Immensely, because you can focus on one character doing one thing to one goal. You don't have these side plots and subplots distracting you, pulling into it in different directions. You don't have multiple main characters. You don't have the complexities of a full novel. Learn what you don't know. When you stop learning, you stop moving forward. So you got to keep reading. You got to keep challenging your business. You got to keep challenging yourself. If you can get 10,000 words a month without breaking a sweat, I challenge you to challenge yourself to have a different goal of how many words are the right number of words, where you're just taken out of your comfort zone into something that, hey, this is a little harder, but you're going to feel a hell of a lot better about yourself when you reach that goal if it's a little bit harder or almost too hard. Don't stress yourself out. That's not worth it. And that's sometimes full-time authoring is not for you. And that's okay, because you're still writing and you find solace in your day job. You get your healthcare insurance. You have a good group of peers. Fine. So you only write an hour a day instead of 6 hours a day or whatever you would do full time. Understand that it's okay. Whatever works for it's your goal. It's your life. Prioritize as you want to. Prioritize as you need to for your sanity. That's too much stress. You tried going full time and it was way too much stress. You couldn't write. Great. Find a day job that provides that kind of support and then write on the side. And you're going to find I can have the best of both worlds. I never could write when I was working full time because I focused on what I was doing and it didn't leave creative energy for anything else. But as soon as I started writing, it's like, this is it. I'm writing full time. I'm never going to lose this creative energy. And I haven't. Over 200 books suggest that. I'm still writing and I love to write. And that's why I started this a little late because I was rewriting an opening sequence on a medical thriller, inserting the right terminology that my co-author has given me and helped to define and describe the situation. So rewriting that, and I got lost in it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I got 2 minutes before this starts. So here we are. And that's it. That's it for dealing with change. It's constant. Change is constant. How you deal with it. If you deal with it well, get through those 5 stages of grief. If it is something that's grief inducing, and reprioritize, find a new goal, move toward that goal that's healthy for you, healthy, but a challenge. Too much of the known, which we like our habits, we like our comfort zone. However, it's also how we sit on the couch every evening and we snack. And then all of a sudden we go, hey man, what happened to me? Yeah. Habits. Embrace those good habits, like writing your story instead of snacking and getting it together, sharing it, getting it out there, learning and doing more of that. Change is constant. You're going to publish and all of a sudden your book is not going to go well. I published a lot of books. I've had some go gangbusters and had others not sell at all. And I can tell you that I have no idea whether a book's going to sell well or not. I know it's going to sell a certain amount because of the core readership, maximum sales to a minimum number of buyers. But will it sell beyond that? I don't have that. I don't have that answer. All I can do is the best I can do, write the best story I can write, and put it out there. Peace, fellow humans.